No, I'm about to get into it. We got it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Keepin It Real. I'm your host, Miles Dunson, and today I have one of the true talents in the mass communications department and somebody I've known personally since 2019, the Carlisle Coppins.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing, Carlisle?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, you know. Today we're here to talk about one of the biggest movies of 2023. It's one of the hottest properties for real. Yeah. We're talking about Creed 3.
The one and only Adonis Creed, you're the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. 3 years ago, it's been a minute since you've been out in these streets.
When I walked away from boxing, I walked away with some unfinished business.
Yes.
Now, Carla, I've heard from some little birds, you know. You're a big Creed fan.
I am.
If you could, tell the audience a little bit about the first two Creeds.
So in the first film, I absolutely loved it. I loved that they added a little bit of love in there. You know, I can't go without that. But I also loved that we were introduced to Adonis, and then he was also introduced to himself through boxing. And then in the second one, it was more of a journey through boxing, and then he also got a little bit obsessed. But ain't nothing wrong with that. We wanted to watch more after that.
Just a little obsession don't hurt nobody.
Yeah, now we're here.
Like the first movie is a little bit of a throwback to like the first Rocky, you know, the love story between Rocky and Adrian. And the second movie is more about the grind of him trying to stay at the top. But as we know in this third movie, he's finished the mountain. Like he's past the mountain. He's past his journey. And he's a retired boxer now. Yeah. And now he's trying to teach new people, but he has everything he dreamt for, but there's demons in his past. Yes. And one of those demons' name is Diamond Damian Anderson, played by the Jonathan Majors.
He hot.
He the hot boy right now. Yeah. I said in the earlier video. Jonathan Majors is the hot boy right now. But this movie really goes, I really like something about this movie, and it talks about almost the black male experience a little bit. Like it goes into how we're affected by certain things in our past and how they affect things that happen in our future. And that's literally Damien's whole character. He's a blemish from Adonis's past. How'd you feel about it?
I mean, I absolutely loved the film. What I loved the most, though, was the imagery. This was Michael B. Jordan's first time directing. So with that, I was like, oh, this is amazing imagery. And he put things in the right places. And then the people who played the characters were awesome, like immaculate. When we talked about Damien, I'm like, yeah, like it was perfect. Like he fit the role and he was that villain. And it also was emotional, but at the same time it flowed. So I loved the film.
Like the first movie was directed by one of my favorite directors, Ryan Coogler. Yes. And then the second movie was directed by Stephen Caple Jr., who's actually doing a Transformers movie later. Yeah. But for Michael B. Jordan to go after those two directors and this being his first time, this is great. Like he said he really likes anime, and you can see that in some of those fight scenes.
Oh my gosh. The one when they was in the ring and then the prison walls, the cell walls came, I said, who thinks of this? Like, that's creative.
Who thinks about this at all?
It was visually everything.
The camera just never stops moving on every fight.
And it kept up. The camera kept up with everybody. You know, we didn't miss a beat. It was like we were there.
I
went into the fight, too. I ain't gonna lie.
One of my favorite parts in the movie, Jonathan Majors, he has something called a crab guard where he kind of boxes like this. Yeah. And Michael B. Jordan peeks through Jonathan Majors' crab guard. That is one of, like, I don't even know how Michael B. Jordan thought of that, but it was crazy.
Creative.
But we have to talk about, we do like a lot of stuff in this movie, but there's some stuff that, you know, might not be for everybody. Carlisle, what was something that wasn't for you?
The biggest thing for me was the fact that there wasn't a lot of boxing. I was like, okay, so like we went from round 3 to round 10. I'm like, dang, like I wanted to see it a little bit, you know. I missed that aspect of it because I love. So it was like good for me to see, you know, him interact with his daughter and his wife and stuff. But I also know that like the film is about boxing and I didn't see much of it, so.
There's literally only 3 fights in the movie, and the first fight it starts at the end of the movie, like it's already at the end of the fight. Yes. And then the other 2 fights. But let me get into that fight real quick. Diamond Damian Anderson, played by Jonathan Majors, he's a dirty boxer. Like he fights dirty. He hurts people intentionally. But once he fights Michael B. Jordan, he just kind of stops doing that. Me personally, I felt like the movie they set up a villain that was going to be dirty. Like, I was thinking he was going to be a little Clubber Lang-ish if you ever seen the Rocky movies from Rocky 3.
Hey, woman! Listen here. Since your old man ain't got no heart, maybe you'd like to see a real man. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you? I tell you what, bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight, and I'll show you a real man. You want it, you got it!
Clubber Lang, he's like a dirty boxer. I mean, he's a speed boxer, but like outside of the ring, he's dirty. So I thought Damien might be like that.
No, but it's a part of the plot though, because you got to know that Damien wasn't gonna win. Because Adonis, he gonna
That's
be
another
winning.
thing.
He's gonna be number one like every single time. But I also think like he still did the role well though, you know, and he played his role. If he was gonna win by being dirty, he would have been dirty throughout the film, but it wouldn't have gone with the plot.
I know he was playing his role, but sometimes you just want to see a little more dirtiness. Like he started dirty, but then didn't finish dirty. I'm like, keep doing dirty, man. Like,
And then you can also see the change of heart and like who these
there
characters
was.
are. That's another thing because Damien, he wasn't the only one who grew. Adonis grew too. Because remember when he had to talk with his wife? Like, it's like, okay, you had to change, and then so did Damien. So it's like, it's part of the plot.
almost every Creed and Rocky movie, it's about the boxing, but it's also about the background of what's going on.
Yeah.
And this movie was about almost black male growth. So they did put a lot. Michael B. Jordan did a great job putting that in this movie. But Carlisle, so you really liked the movie. Out of 10, what would you rank the movie?
11. Like, I would go watch it again. I watched Black Panther 3 times in theater. I'm on my way to see Creed. Like, come on. 3.
Personally, for me, I love the Creed franchise. It was one of the first movies I ever seen by myself in theaters. I really do like this movie. I'm going to have to give it an 8 because the villain wasn't dirty. I need more dirt in my villains. I need more dirt. If you're going to be, I got the Thanos shirt on. If you're going to be dirty,
Thanos
be
is
dirty.
crazy.
Thank you for joining us on this latest episode of
course.
Keeping It Real. Thank you, Carlisle, for being my guest, and we hope to see y'all again.
See y'all later.
Adios.